Welcome to our wine discovery journey through Spain. We are going to taste some of the most famous styles of Spanish wine, a couple of hidden gems. So I'm very excited to share these wines with you today. Spain is one of the three largest wine producing countries in the world. Of course, sharing the limelight with France and Italy. Because of the diversity of mountains, valleys, different soil types, proximity to the ocean, to the Mediterranean Sea, to the Atlantic, or how far away from the sea the vineyard is, how up in the mountains, there's a lot of different styles being produced here. We know some of these styles very well, such as Rioja, Cava, Sherry. So it is a very diverse wine producing country, and I'm very excited to start this journey with you. First stop of our journey through Spain will be in Castilla y León, more or less in central Spain, in a region called Rueda. There is a very famous river that crosses Spain, starting in the Cantabrian mountain and then running through Rioja and then through the valley. There's a large valley here formed by the Cantabrian mountains to one side and the Sierra de Gredos on the other side. This river is called the Duero River, and as it crosses into Portugal, it's called the Douro River. This river bathes a lot of famous wine regions in Portugal, for instance, where port is produced, and in Spain, Rioja and Ribera del Duero. And Rueda is a little bit further north of this river. The producer, Bodegas de Alberto, is owned by a very old winemaking family. They have been here in Rueda making wines for almost 350 years. Their wines are organic, certified biodynamic. There's a huge focus on not using artificial chemicals at any point of the wine journey, from grape to bottle, and a huge focus on quality. I chose a white wine that's quite famous from here, and it's a particular favorite of mine, called Verdejo. Verdejo produces wines that are very aromatic, not very dissimilar in terms of aromas from Sauvignon Blanc. These wines are refreshing, lovely notes of stone fruit, a lively grapefruit zestiness around it, very, very quaffable, very, very easy to drink. And if you took the time to chill this wine well, you will see that with that cool temperature, the wine feels extremely refreshing. It is a summer favorite of mine, so I hope you enjoy it. Now for the second stop in our discovery through Spain, I'm going to take you further north from Rueda, right into the Cantabrian Mountains, to the tail end of the Cantabrian Mountains, as they start to level out and move towards the Atlantic, to a region called Bierzo, which is nestled in the valleys created by the Cantabrian Mountains. The producer here, Bodegas Adrià, Mr. Francisco Adrià, planted the vineyard and started the winery in the early 40s. Then his daughter, Rocío, took over the winery from him, and she's currently looking after the vineyard and the winery and training her daughter Margarita to take over from her. So this is one of the female producers that we champion at Humble Grape. A real focus on organic, no artificial chemicals, a really, really, really good focus on quality. The wine is absolutely delicious. And it is a white wine, as you can see, made from a grape called Godello. Godello is becoming more popular in the UK because the first thing you notice when you smell this wine is how delicious it is. Mineral notes such as wet stones, wet rocks. It has a lovely note of red apple, lemon zest. The wine is quite light and supple. It has a very long finish. The flavors sit on the palate for a while. And It is one of the styles of white wine that you can serve really chilled in a very warm summer afternoon, and the wine will feel very, very refreshing. I hope you enjoy it. Now, stop number 3 of our journey. We are moving from the northwestern part of Spain all the way across through the Cantabrian Mountains to the northeastern part of Spain, to a very small, tiny wine region called Priorat. It has that name because of a very famous priory, or the ruins of a priory, on top of the central hill of Priorat. One thing about Priorat is the majority of the the vineyards here are planted on desert-like soils, so it's very arid. The vines struggle here to produce grapes, which means the crops are very, very small, of really tiny grapes and huge flavor. Because of all of that, tiny crops, tiny grapes, you can't produce as much wine out of a vineyard as you would have been able in Rueda, where we were before, or Bierzo. So prices here tend to be a little bit higher because of this. The Grand Cru estate started in the late 1900s. Time domain, also focused on quality, organics. Here, no artificial chemicals in the vineyard. And this is a little bit of a curveball, because when we talk about Priorat, for those of you who are wine lovers, the first thing you think are the big, tonic, full-bodied red wines that come from this region. The white wines don't really get a lot of attention, so that's why I chose this white wine from Priorat. This wine is made from a blend of 2 Spanish white grape varieties, Garnacha and Macabeo. When the wine isn't filtered, and then it's put in oak to age for a period of up to 10 months, depending on the vintage, that creates a very complex white wine with flavors and aromas of bruised apple. The wine is quite rich, and because it has been aged in oak, and here in Priorat, it's quite common for producers to use American oak, you will get lovely notes of hazelnut, a subtle, a delicious note of vanilla and coconut, and with a lovely finish of butterscotch. So it is a quite unusual style of white wine. I would not recommend to serve this wine too cold. Otherwise, all of those aromas that I described, they become more difficult to smell and to taste. I hope you enjoyed this one. Next stop on our wine discovery journey, we are going to move away from Priorat on the northeastern corner of Spain, cross over the Cantabrian Mountains to right bang north of Spain to a very famous region called Rioja. We all know Rioja really well in this country. Very drinkable styles of red wine that come out of this region. It's very popular. We can see Riojas in wine menus, pub menus, because it is a very food-friendly style of wine. The producer, Bodegas Paco Garcia. Paco, who started the vineyard, he used to make wines in the traditional Rioja style, which is very, very extracted, aged in oak for a long time, that dusty style of an older wine, wines that aren't quite approachable if they are young. When his son started to take over the winery, he wanted to understand why the younger generation in Spain wasn't drinking Rioja anymore, and that was the reason why. That extracted, dusty, heavy style of Rioja wasn't appealing to the newer generation. So he decided to change things, change winemaking, change the style, make a style that's much more approachable, change the branding, and sadly his dad passed away. Paco passed away. So he decided to use his dad's palm print as part of the branding and put on the label of the bottle. That's why you see there's a palm print on the label of this wine. This wine is made 100% from Tempranillo, which is a grape that's going to be very popular in Rioja, and then as we move down, following the Duero River into Ribera del Duero and further west. The wine has been aged in oak for 6 months. Tempranillos produce wines with lovely notes of red and dark fruit. So there's a mixture of red and dark cherry, red and dark plums here, plus a very subtle note of smoke, vanilla, and cedar. I hope you enjoyed this one. For the next stop on our wine discovery journey of Spain, we are moving now close to the Mediterranean. We are going into a quite famous region there called Alicante. Alicante is quite famous in the UK because a lot of holiday makers fly into Alicante to then move south to Benidorm. Alicante focuses mostly on producing red wines from a grape called Monastrell. Monastrell is also planted in France. It's called the Mourvedre. Monastrell does particularly well here because it needs a lot of sunshine and warmth to ripen properly. Otherwise, the resulting wine can be very tight with a lot of tannins and green flavors. But because of all the sunshine and warmth here in Alicante, Monastrell ripens really well. Casa Balaguer, which is the producer, it started in the 50s, 1950s. They only produce wines that are organic, biodynamic, low intervention, so no chemical intervention during wine making. Nothing is added to the juice while the wine is being made. This particular wine, Seine, is a blend of Syrah, that we also know as Shiraz, and Monastrell. The blend of those two make a wine that, as you'll be able to taste now, combines lots of black fruits, blackberry, blueberry, blackcurrant, with the hint of spice the Syrah brings to the blend. So we will feel a very subtle note of black pepper there. The wine has been aged in a combination of French and American oak for 12 months in order to soften the tannins of Monastrell, which you'll be able to feel. The tannins feel super velvety, and that oak aging for a year adds notes of cedar, toast, vanilla, and a lovely note of chocolate to this wine. I hope you enjoy it. We arrived at the last stop of our wine discovery through Spain. We're in Rioja, in the northern part of Spain. We are going to follow the Duero River as it runs towards Portugal into a region called Ribera del Duero. The banks of the Duero River. That's what it means. Ribera del Duero is very famous for producing hedonistic, rich styles of red wine from Tempranillo, and so it is true with this producer. Pico Quadro is located on the western part of Ribera del Duero, very close to illustrious producers from Ribera, such as Dominio de Pingus. The wine is produced from 100% Tempranillo, and then is aged in barrels for 12 months. The best way to describe this wine is rich and hedonistic, with notes of dark plum, blueberries, dark cherries, a lovely tannic structure to the wine, and all the oak flavors and aromas coming through, but not overpowering the wine. They just frame the wine with notes of cedar, toast, vanilla, and smoke. I hope you enjoyed our journey through Spain, and I look forward to see you in our next wine discovery journey.